Oh, work. Yeah, what's going on, America? Welcome back to the Savage Patriots.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, TGIF. For those that this is their Friday, those that like to enjoy the weekend, the time out with your friends, having some little drinks, getting a little busy, you know what I mean? But today we're going to talk about Jon Stewart, and then also we're going to discuss all the slaps and the punches going on in New York City. They just go around
just the general degradation of New York City.
They're just going around just smacking people, punching people for no reason. It's crazy. It's craziness. So yeah, we're gonna get into Jon Stewart and his hypocrisy and how him and Trump. He was talking mess about Trump, but he's a hypocrite because he did the same exact thing. So we will get back to you on the other side. And welcome back to the future. We fast forward it to the future. It's going to be a pretty interesting topic because a lot of times on the Savage Patriots and many other different platforms out there, podcasts, they talk about the hypocrisy of the left, especially these pundits, these washed up comedians like Jon Stewart and others that do things that they think it's funny or they think it's edgy, but it's really not, because eventually the truth is always going to come out. And I've said before, be careful what you say about people if there are skeletons in your closet.
Or to put it another way, don't throw rocks in glass houses.
Or don't do that. So, and it doesn't just deal with Trump. It just deals with in general. If you're going after somebody and you want to throw their dirty laundry out, you better make sure you don't have any, because people will find it and they will expose you for the hypocrite you are. So, that, ex facto, just leave people alone. Just let them be. But anyways, we're going to get this started. What do you guys think?
I mean, what's more to be said? If we clearly see the hypocrisy, and I actually am more indicting the New York City Attorney General Tisha James, the big,
not to be confused with the Georgia case.
No, that's Big Shirley number 2. That's
no, I guess you're right.
That's Medea.
Not to be confused with Fanny.
Fanny's Big Shirley,
Letitia and not butt gig.
Medea,
not Buttigieg.
All right, so that's
because they have Fanny and Booty.
Medea and Big Shirley, but not to get confused. But they're both corrupt. Both of them are corrupt, and
no, you can't say that, Michael. They're two very strong black women.
Power to the people.
Brave and bold.
Brave and bold.
Brave and bold. And
strong, independent.
And you can't talk about them because they're a protected class. So we're not talking about them.
You are sexist and a racist if you talk bad about Letitia James and Fannie Willis.
We're talking about their character. Okay, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the characters they play on TV. But anyway,
characters they portray. These are all fictional characters, not to be mistaken for real people.
Jay, did you get where I was going with that? They play characters on TV.
I did.
It's a stage.
Especially heinous crimes.
Yes, here we go.
Law and Order SVU.
All right, Chloe, what is this one before we play it?
So this is Jon Stewart. This is the whole thing that kicked it off. Is Jon Stewart was making fun of Kevin O'Leary for going on to the different shows, saying that this is a bad thing what they're doing to Trump in NYC. O'Leary doesn't even like Trump. Like, he doesn't at all. He's never been a fan of this guy, but he's saying that this case isn't about Trump. It's about the future of real estate in New York City. If this continues, it is going to destroy the real estate market, and it's not only in New York City, but in the U.S. in general, because if it shows that there is a ability for you to be found and charged guilty with fraud, even though you're doing standard practices that everybody else is doing in the industry, right? Then they can fine you, like summarily judge you, because that's what happened. People don't understand in the Trump case is that Trump didn't have a trial. The judge said, I take these charges that the DA has given me. I agree with them. And so I have ruled summarily that they are correct and that he is guilty. He didn't have a chance to prove anything. He didn't even let the lenders who actually were supposed to be the ones that were damaged in this civil case, in this fraud case, to testify on Trump's behalf, right? So the hearings that he had wasn't whether he was guilty or not. It was whether how much he should pay or how much fraud was there. That's what they were deciding on based off of what they already decided he was guilty on without a jury of his peers. A judge just said, I agree with the DA, and went boom. Even though both of these people do not like Trump, Letitia James ran on going after Trump because show me the man, I'll show you the crime, which I think should have disbarred her in the first place, because how can you have a malicious prosecution of somebody running for office to specifically go after somebody for something? Not that there was an actual crime to begin with. They made up the charges in order to get him. So it's a malicious prosecution in the first place.
And
All right,
there's such a massive unconstitutionality to the entire thing too.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, when it comes to the left and people on the left, those evil people, rules for thee, not for me. You know what I mean? They and it's so in our face these days. It's just like they show you straight up. They will prosecute somebody over here, but then their side over here would do almost the same exact thing, and they'll brush it off as, oh no, you know, that's not
well, that's not the same, right?
That's different.
Just like starting a fake university or like having a foundation that takes money for Haitian victims. That's not the same thing.
It's not the
same thing.
Ooh.
It's not the same thing as big pharma killing a bunch of people and then getting fined billions and billions of dollars just to turn around and make a vaccine that nobody knows what's in. It's cool. No worries.
Hey, it's not the same.
It's not the same that they were charged for fraud before.
Yeah,
and they still sold you stuff.
All right, let's get to this.
Pause.
Go ahead.
Are we still up on YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah.
I didn't go too far with that. I just said one thing. That's it.
I'm just making sure that we're on YouTube still.
Yeah.
We're still on YouTube. Okay, so here's the clip.
Leave it to Kevin O'Leary to be unaware enough to say the quiet part out loud.
I hear about the so-called victimless crimes, but the laws on the books, falsification of business records in second degree, issuing false financial statements, insurance fraud, conspiracy, and all these different aspects of it, those are actual crimes. I take it your point is that these should not have been prosecuted?
Everything you just listed off is done by every real estate developer everywhere on earth in every city. This has never, ever been prosecuted.
There is a theory in law.
But that's the thing that they don't understand, because that's not what happened. They made those charges up. They're saying he falsified them because they were basing it off of his tax evaluation, not evaluation that the bank gave. Right? So they're saying based off of what what the government said his building was worth based on his taxes is what he should have sold it for, or what he should have evaluated it at, right? So that being said, so like if you go to somebody and say, hey, I think my car is worth X, right? But the tax assessor says it's worth less than that, and you sell it for that. That's what they're saying he did. He made fraud because he sold it for what he thought it was worth, not what the state said it was worth. Does that make sense? So that's what people don't understand about this case is they're saying, well, he committed fraud. No, he didn't. He said, I think my building is worth this. The bank says, no, we're going to send our own assessor to see what it is. They said, this is what we think it is, and said, okay, I'll go with what you said, and then we'll come up with loan terms, and then I'll pay you back. And he did with interest. Everybody made money. Everybody was happy, but not the state, because they wanted to go after Donald Trump. So they're saying because his building was leveled at being X money for how much taxes he's supposed to be paid is where the fraud comes in. And so he falsified records by saying he thinks it's worth X instead of what they said it was worth.
All right.
And the scary part here, is that this is the state that's running after Trump.
Yeah.
Yes.
The government, the local government.
New York City
and the
is
fact
the one that brought the civil trial.
Right. And the fact that Jon Stewart here is literally bending over and saying, harder, daddy, I'm going to say what you want me to say. It's just like one of those things like, are you serious, bro?
Yeah, we all know guys shills like Jon Stewart. It's expected. You know, they're paid freaking They're paid actors, paid agitators, and this is what they get paid to do. So
I know it's sad. Jon Stewart used to be good, and then he just went downhill. I don't know what happened with him.
Let's continue.
That if enough people commit a crime, it automatically becomes legal. You're familiar with The Purge, are you not? The entitled arrogance. I don't know if you know this, but most people just can't commit fraud and expect to face no repercussions, even if everyone...
Except that it wasn't fraud, which we've already discussed.
Yes. Doing it. Try getting a car loan by saying you have 10 times as much money as you really do, or claim 20 dependents when you have no children, or say you make slightly less
That's not what
money
they did, though.
to qualify for food assistance. I will guarantee you there are not just financial consequences for those lies, but criminal ones. But don't tell that to the investment community, because in their minds, in pursuit of profit, there is no rule that cannot be bent. There is no principle that cannot be undercut, as long as you and your friends are making money.
Which is exactly what he did.
Right. Is Jon Stewart being obtuse for on purpose? Because there's plenty of EBT and food stamp, fraudulent food stamp usages,
but that's okay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so
they're protected class.
So is he being obtuse on purpose?
Maybe, or he's just reading a teleprompter. He probably doesn't even know anything. He's just reading a teleprompter like a little robot, and he's just acting on what he's reading because he's an actor. He's a failed actor. He's a failed comedian. He's on a teleprompter, and he's just reading. They could have wrote Ricky Tiki Timbo, no sir Rimbo on there. He would have read it. Ricky Tiki Timbo, what? No sir Rimbo. You know what I mean? This is how these people like this are. They have no idea. They probably know what they're talking about. All right, we're going to talk about Trump and his fraud case. Okay, whatever. Put it on a teleprompter. And they can put anything they want on that teleprompter, and he's trained to read exactly what they put. So I bet when he read that, when it clicked in his head about fraud, he was probably like, oh, little ting.
But see, the thing is that they use the exact same loopholes. Everybody in Hollywood, everybody in the industry, entertainment industry, uses the exact same loopholes as everybody else, and they know it. And that's the stupid thing about this whole thing, is that they use the loopholes, then complain about the loopholes and saying that we should close the loopholes, even though they continue to use the loopholes. If they actually cared about their policies and their actual stances on things, they wouldn't do the loopholes, but they do it because they want to save money, just like everybody else.
And
it's so stupid.
And the one thing about Donald Trump is that he was honest about the loopholes. Remember, they talked to him about the tax loopholes. He was like, I use the loopholes. I use the system. You know what I mean? These guys are too much of cowards to even come out and say, yeah, I use loopholes. Yeah, I do. I'm trying to save money.
You can't seriously tell me that Jon Stewart doesn't sit down with his accountant every year when tax season comes around and he pulls out every single exemption he possibly can to save money on his taxes, just like everybody else. You sit down and do your taxes. Where are you going to try to find your exemptions? Everywhere you effing can.
Yeah.
Every single time. So Jon Stewart apparently did what this whole thing started. Jon Stewart has done exactly what he's accusing Trump of doing, right? Of committing fraud, because he overvalued his New York City home when he sold it by 829%. So the valuation, according to the state, was only like $1 million, and he sold it for 17, right? The guy bought it at 17 million. A couple of years later, had to sell it for less and lost $3 million in the process. So according to Jon Stewart's argument, he committed fraud by saying it was worth more than what the tax assessed value was. And even then, he wasn't even he's saying it was worth 17, but it was tax assessed at $1 million, but he wasn't even paying that. He was paying it on $700,000 evaluation.
All right, slow it down let's go for the people on the back. So his property was assessed at 1 million, you said?
Yeah, it's something like that. Here, let me
and then he sold it for 17 million. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
I thought
they had it on this one. They don't have it on this one. I'll have to get the post-millennial one. They had the actual breakdown.
Yeah. And when did this go? And Jon Stewart probably never thought this would come to light.
This was like 2014 too.
Yeah,
That's
but he probably thought it was in the past. It was 10 years ago. There's no way they're going to find this. And this is what I said earlier in the segment.
Well, he didn't even think about it. I'm sure he didn't even think about it.
Skeletons in your closet. If you want to throw dirt or do anything, especially to somebody like Donald Trump, who has more money than to find out things, figure things out, and do things, you better make sure your closet is skeleton free. You better make sure, because he got up there and he made a fool of himself in front of all the American people, thinking he's funny, kikiing and ha-haing, and then this comes out about him. Now look at him. He's not going to come out and say, well, you know, I was a hypocrite, I like to apologize. No, he's not. He's just going to keep moving the goalposts, and he's going to go to the next big thing about Donald Trump to try to cover him for this stuff that came out about him.
Yeah. So Post Millennial's got a better breakdown out of it. So Stewart sold his 6,200 square feet Tribeca duplex in 2014. The tax assessed property value was 1.8 million, is what it was. But the actual assessor valuation was 800,000.
And then what did he sell it for?
So he was paying taxes on an $800,000 place, but they market valued it at 1.8, and then he sold it for 17.
Wow. Now,
so according to his own argument, like I said, he self-inflated a value to get more money out of a person, and then the dude lost money. So he committed fraud, according to his own argument.
Right.
According to Letitia James, he committed fraud.
Exactly.
According to Engoron.
Yeah.
According to them all. So Jon Stewart should be on trial right now, or they should be taking his property, or he should be paying some fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Or exactly what they got Trump for, right? I mean, if the system's fair, right? The system should be fair. It's not going to happen. Because if Jon Stewart, he's a leftist, you know?
And it's funny that I wish I had found the tweet, but I don't have it up there. But he basically went on to say that, oh my God, I did something similar to Trump. And then he went on and deflected to saying that he started a fake university and then caused an insurrection. So he deflected. He didn't address what actually happened and how he's a hypocrite. He addressed it like, whoa, Trump's worse. So it's like, no, you still committed fraud according to your own logic.
And I didn't even read that tweet. And I said exactly what he did. I was like, he's probably going to do something and deflect it and do all this other stuff and try to change the topic. And
it's going to be funny to see what he says on Monday.
But here's the thing with the American people. The American people need to stop forgetting. And we talk about all the time about shiny objects, right? Shiny objects. No, keep your eye on the prize, because these guys will do some messed up stuff, lie, cheat, scratch their way to the top, and then point the finger at Donald Trump. And he's not perfect. You know, we're not Trump glorifiers in here, but we believe right is right, wrong is wrong, truth is truth. And these are the same people that would go after Trump for the things he did pertaining to his business, pertaining to his money, pertaining to his properties. And then behind the scenes, they're doing the same exact thing, thinking no one will find out. And then when they get caught, like Coy said, they deflect. And they want to bring up Trump University, something I forget how many years ago that was, you know, whatever. But
I mean, it's not any different than half the universities that are for profit anyway.
Oh, right.
So there's a lot of those out there.
Yeah.
So here's
Harvard,
Jon Stewart's tweet,
Yale.
like I said. So true. Them and them large endowments that cost an arm and a leg. So, oh my God, I've been caught doing something not remotely similar. So he's saying not remotely similar to Trump. I guess all I need to do now is start a fraud college, steal classified docs, bankrupt casinos, pay hush money, grab
he never did
grab stuff, discriminate in housing, and cheat at a golf, and foment insurrection, and you'll revere me.
All right.
Quite literally, every single one of those points is just buzzwords that he picked up watching Don Lemon.
I know, but
exactly.
There's a couple of them in here that are like steal classified documents. I mean, that's one that a couple of people have already done, and nobody's going after him for that.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Biden, for instance.
Okay.
Mike Pence, for instance.
Let's break this down. Okay. Start the fraud college. I don't know too much.
And I'm sure there's a bunch of people that paid hush money in certain circles that we could really go down the rabbit hole with if we really wanted to.
And what do they mean by bankrupt casinos? Like he had a casino and it went bankrupt, or did he buy out a casino.
He probably bought it out, or it probably closed or something, because that happens in business, especially when you're dealing with a lot of money. Businesses shut down all the time. You know how many business owners have failed at some point, or business they had to shut their business down at some point. So Donald Trump was no different. He tried something, it didn't work out. He had to go back to the drawing board, and they always want to bring that up. Then the whole grab him by the you know what comment. That never happened. That was something he was talking about. See, he sits up here and he tries to gaslight his followers to thinking, and this is how leftists think. Leftists will read this. Leftists will read this and say, "Yep, Trump grabbed him by the," and which that never happened.
The reason why they're saying it like that now is because of the E. Jean Carroll stuff. That's why they're bringing that up again, even though that's fake, and obviously everybody knows it's fake.
Yeah, everybody knows it's fake.
It's from an like Law and Order episode.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that his words are, quote, if you're rich and famous enough, these groupies will let you grab them. Independent consent. They want you to.
He did say
whether or not he does.
And there's a lot worse things going on in Hollywood besides whatever Donald Trump said when we're talking about like all the grossness that's there, because there's a recent documentary about Nickelodeon that is absolutely disgusting. Right?
Yeah.
And so like you want to, okay, Donald Trump is not the worst human on the planet. We have Diddy, who is on the run right now, that has leaked audio of banging another dude.
But back to Jon Stewart. Back to Jon Stewart.
Sorry.
There you go.
You know, with that tweet,
bad boy.
Yeah, with that tweet, that's kind of leaning towards like defamation and slander, because none of those things have been founded. Maybe that he could say he bankrupt, but he never grabbed nobody. He pretty much said that he did. He didn't. You know, so and you have to watch when you say stuff like that, because someone's going to take those words that he said. And I think Trump's already suing someone for slander, whatever his name is.
There's a lot of them that he could.
Yeah. So you really got to watch that stuff. And the left will read that and believe it. This is how the left operates. They sit up there like NPCs and watch their news. Donald Trump is bad. Orange man bad. Grab him by the what. And then every time you talk to a leftist, they regurgitate the same exact thing verbatim that they heard on the TV.
Yeah. So like I said, it comes down, like I said, looking at this document, it comes down to that he did exactly what they're accusing Donald Trump of doing in New York, right? But everybody does that. You want to get the most value out of your assets.
Yeah.
Your buildings, in his case, where like he was saying, hey, I think it's worth X. The bank said, no, I think it's worth this. But the tax excess value is different, right? We all know this, that they will always underdo it in order to get the best taxes, but they'll always overinflate it in order to get the best price. Everybody does this.
And it doesn't work for your average American, because when I sold my house, I didn't.
Yeah, you got raked over the coals, I'm assuming.
I got raked over the coals trying to sell my house. You know, the market, it's not nice out there. So I don't have the money. See, the average American doesn't have the money to do that, and you know, all raise the prices and have the money to back that. You know, if I would have did that, they would have been knocking on my door. The IRS, everyone else would have been knocking on my door, talking about they want their money back. So I was low. You know, I took it low. I took lower than what the property value, what it was valued at, just so I can get out of that property. These rich guys, they'll take my same house that I sold it for and flip that thing, same house, same exact house, inflate it by a couple hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, while the little guy can't do that. These rich people can now.
Why isn't Letitia James going after BlackRock for all of its investment properties, where they've overinflated a ton of house values in order to sell them, or even to rent them for that matter?
Yeah, BlackRock and taxes and states work with each other. They tax you out of your home, pretty much. They get you in there with a lower interest rate. They get you in. They're happy. My first home. Oh, my mortgage is only $1,100 a month. We can afford that with two incomes. Then boom, they raise your taxes. Then boom, they raise your taxes again. Now your house goes from paying $1,100 a month to $2,400 a month. BlackRock comes up because the person can't stay in their house anymore. Said, "We'll buy your house. We'll buy
this whole block."
And we're not going to give you what it's worth. We're going to give you under, because we really know you want out of it. We really know. So, and then they lower the price. They give you that. And then they turn around just like Jon Stewart is doing. They'll turn around and raise it to 100, 150% and resell the house at a higher price and make a bigger profit for the same exact house you sold them. Nothing's changed. Nothing's different. So you're right. She should be going after people like BlackRock, industry corporations like BlackRock, who are doing the same exact thing to the average poor American every single day.
But I got a feeling that BlackRock
Lynn's right.
Donor.
Yeah, probably. Lynn's right, though. The Chinese will be buying up residential properties. They've already been doing it. So ever since Evergrande went under in China, which is the biggest real estate developer corporation in China, went belly up. A lot, like that's been the standard practice in China, is you buy property in order to hold value, right? And so it went under, and so they have a bunch of worthless properties now. So they're looking elsewhere to invest their money. And which would be what a lot of rich people do, is they invest in things in order to save their assets. So they're coming over to the United States and they're buying up housing and leaving it vacant.
Yep.
Especially in New York City. A lot of the places that exist in New York City are empty because they're investment properties.
And that's what they're doing. And that's what they're doing with a lot of subdivisions. You know, a lot of subdivisions, they'll build these subdivisions, these nice subdivisions. Again, people are moving to these brand new nice houses, family home, realize 2 to 3 years later, can't afford it because of tax reasons. They'll sell it. And you're right. These other foreign companies will come in and buy up all these houses and they'll sit. And then when somebody buys it, they double and triple the price on the house, make a huge profit, while the person that sold it loses money.
Yeah.
It's all crooked. It's all corrupt.
Yeah. It absolutely is. And like I said, in these people, especially the liberals that are always going, everybody needs to pay their fair share, but they're the first ones in line to cheat on their taxes in order to not pay their fair share, like Jon Stewart, who is paying less on a property he owns in taxes and then sold it for more because he's a money grubber just like everybody else. You can't pretend you don't want your money just like everybody else. It's to be human. We want to get the best value for whatever we own.
And you know, I always question that pay your fair share. What is their fair share of using the same roads that we do? What is their fair share of breathing the same air? And I get it, they're rich. Oh, I get it. But what is the fair share of someone else's money that they really use everything that, you know what I mean?
It's our money, comrade.
Yeah, it's the government's money, comrade.
It's our money.
You don't have money. No one's money is yours to claim. You know what I mean?
You know what the government is? Yeah, you know what the government is? Is that really greedy girlfriend or like partner or whatever? You can do it for both for this matters. Like, hey, I got a raise and stuff like that. As you mean we got a raise? Yeah. Oh, and they're not working, and they're not working at all. They're like, it's our money, right?
Yeah,
but, like,
I was gonna say
we're not even married, but like, no, it's our money.
His money is our money, and my money is my money.
You know, you're in a messed up system when the government takes their cut before you even get your check. They already take theirs off the top. So before you even see your money, and they already say, give us ours. Boom. We're taking ours. We didn't do anything to work for it. We didn't do anything to earn it. Just for you breathing on earth. So you got to pay us for you have to pay us for your existence on earth.
Here's the thing. Tell me the difference between an extortion protection racket and the United States government.
Nothing. They're exactly the same.
There is no difference.
There is no difference.
There is no difference. You pay me every single month or however many times you get a paycheck to protect you, right? So I protect you by giving you police and all these amenities, right? And then we're supposed to come in and defend you if something goes wrong. That's what the mob did. They go into a local business and say, hey, you pay us money every single month and we'll protect you from hooligans or whatever. Even though they might be the ones breaking your store, which what the government will do. If you don't pay them protection money, they will come in and break your store.
Yeah. Take everything from you. Take your property.
And take everything away from you.
Take everything from you.
Unless you're Jon Stewart, when you overvalue your house.
So what happens if you don't pay your property taxes and you pay to the government, who's there to protect you?
They
take your house
out and make you homeless.
Yeah, they take your house. What if you don't pay into Social Security? they take your money.
Yeah. Well, I have my stance on tax. It's very unconstitutional. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say we have to pay tax. And until our country gets back to constitutional law, we're going to be in this predicament until we go right back to the Constitution. Constitution is the law of the land. No maritime law, no ordinances, nothing. The Constitution.
But the thing is that we're paying for a product which is protection from the United States government, and they're not providing it. That's the problem.
They can't provide it. It's up to the individual to protect themselves. And the problem with a lot of Americans, not a lot, but you hear certain group of Americans talk about, well, the government's there to protect us. No, they're not. They're not required to protect you, really.
They're there to extract resources from you.
You protect yourself. You take care of your own. They don't even need to be nowhere in the picture. They just need to be over there doing their thing, whatever they do, signing fake bills and playing with each other, private parts. I don't know. Do what they do over there. Just leave us alone. Just leave us alone. And if we need you, if the country's under some type of, attack or there's something big going on that affects the whole country, then we want to hear from you. Outside of that, we don't care.
And even then, that's a stretch. Even then, that's a stretch.
We don't care.
Because, if a foreign invader comes in, and if the citizens are truly left alone, then you have
that was the whole point of the Second Amendment,
right? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like
necessary for the security of the free state. The right to the militia and keep and bear arms. The whole point of being able to fend off foreign invasions was being able to localize militias,
right,
in order to quickly defend themselves.
Yeah.
And speaking of militias, I mean, they might need a militia in New York.
I know.
And that's crazy what's happening there, man. Like they have the National Guard in the subway stations now.
Yeah,
I heard
but there's no crime.
I heard they actually have body scanners in the subways. When you walk in, they scan you to make sure you have no weapons. Allegedly. What is going on in New York? Hey, I think New York is they had it coming, man.
Well, right. Ever since they got rid of Giuliani. But the story is that there have been multiple instances, this is even weird, but there's been multiple instances of where random women are getting punched in the face for no apparent reason at all. And rather than reporting it, they're going to TikTok about it, but that's neither here nor there. It's just a string of these events that are occurring in New York City of random women are getting assaulted, just punched in the face for no reason at all.
Yeah. Well, there's some updates on that. It's going to be very interesting to see how the narrative gets shifted. But first, let's go to the original video of them complaining about what's going on.
You guys, I was literally just walking and a man came up and punched me in the face. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. I can't even talk. Literally, I fell to the ground and now this giant goose egg is forming and I'm like, oh my God, it looks so crazy. Okay, just want to give an update on getting punched in the face. I said I was done fucking crying on the internet and here I am. But yeah, I am going to the hospital. I feel like I'm probably, oh my God, it looks like I have a fucking devil horn. Honestly, that's kind of fitting. Anyway, yeah, I was just walking on the sidewalk and my head was down. I was like looking at my phone, just sending an email, but there was so much room on the sidewalk and like literally nobody was around. And I guess this man, I don't know if he punched me or if he owed me. I literally passed out. So I don't really remember. But
definitely should go to the hospital,
he just was really mad that my head was down. He was walking a dog. So he took it upon himself to body check me and let me know to be conscious of my surroundings, which now I fucking will be. And then I fell to the ground and I like literally blacked out for a second. But then I got up and he was screaming at me. And I was just like scared. So I literally just ran away. And then I was like, wait, am I crazy? Like, what the fuck just happened? And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I'm going to just urgent care. That's probably so fucking.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. Anytime you get knocked out and you lose consciousness, you should probably go to the hospital to get your brain scanned.
Nah.
So there are a couple.
We never did in the military, but you should.
I've been knocked out on a jump. I didn't go to the hospital. I turned out.
So there are a couple of different instances. The pro I am women hear me roar side, the feminazis are saying that these random attacks are happening by the red pill incel guys who are angry. Others have purported the idea that these are the onslaught of illegals that are flooding the city streets, just attacking left and right. So
part of it, but there's another one that's kind of I found fun, kind of interesting. Of there was one guy that was blaming it on white people. It was white people attacking it.
Never fails.
Let's just hear this blacktivist.
Hello. So this is day 3 of women in New York City getting punched in the face. The New York Post has not said anything about it. The NYPD has not said anything about it. The mayor has not said anything about it. Elon Musk has not said anything about it. And Twitter has not said anything about it. Which means it had nothing to do with black men. Black men ain't got shit to do with this. So everyone's quiet. All the right-wing pages are quiet. The Post is quiet. The news is quiet. So we all know it's a bunch of white men punching a bunch of white women. So,
all right, remember that name, remember that face. Now, and he put a thumbs up like the bootlicker he is. But just remember this. If that was a bunch of black women, let's reverse it now. Black women getting punched in the face, and everyone who didn't talk about it, say the New York Post didn't talk about it, Elon Musk and all them people that mayor, the police didn't talk about it. Would he have that same energy? Would he be saying that? Or would he be up there talking about some random people going around punching our queens? You know what I mean? But because it's a white person, which he's a racist, he just showed you he is. He gives a thumbs up like that's okay. I don't want to see no one wants to get punched. I don't care what race they are. What man would sit up there and praise women who were just minding their business, getting punched in the face by some beta mama's boy man?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
It is funny because they have the update. They actually arrested a guy in connection to this. And
wait! Don't say what color he is yet. Let's all. I don't see it. Let me guess. He's not white. I would say that
he's not white.
Okay, eat your words.
Is not white. Apparently, he is a crazy person, is what he is. Who's apparently now, as they put it, is on the right because he has the Trump flag in the background behind him.
He's a Trump.
But he's a failed political candidate. Here, I'll bring up the article from the New York Post. So this guy is just an insane person, is what it is. He's 40 years old. He is a friend, according to the New York Post, he's a French Canadian. Wow. Political candidate who ran for New York City mayor, accused of sucker punching TikToker. So the man allegedly sucker punched the TikTok influencer in New York City is a perennial down ballot political candidate who ran for mayor, governor, and city council in the past 3 years.
And failed.
Dude's an insane person. It failed all 3. No wonder. He was charged with assault on Monday in connection to that. He's supposed to appear in the Manhattan court. But he has a history of harassing women, not just white women, but women in general. There are videos on Twitter of this guy right here going around saying a bunch of weird things. I mean, this dude's unhinged to begin with. Going around just harassing him and then lately doing the punching because these people aren't paying attention, I guess. They're on their phones or whatever. He's just an insane dude. Just an insane person. But because he has a Trump flag and that he ran as a Republican and all these things, they're trying to turn the narrative that New York City isn't lawless. It's just some crazy Trumper going around punching people.
Of
That's
course,
going to be the thing.
A crazy black Trump supporter at that. You see,
yeah.
This is how they're going to.
The problem is it's only one guy and they're still happening.
They're going to say, "Oh, all Trump. First it was the white Trump supporters. Now it's the black Trump supporters, and they're out here punching white women. They're punching our good white women." But you know what I mean? You see how they're just going to change, how they're going to spin that? You know, they already think white Trump supporters are crazy, or mass shooters or whatever they like to call them, say. Now they're going to say black Trump supporters are punching these white women in the face.
But the problem is the fact that they're going to have to deal with the other people that are punching women in the face in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Which just happened again. There was another guy who sucker punched a woman, has a history of mental illness, and the other guy has been arrested multiple times for doing the exact same thing, who should have been in jail. The problem is that these people should have been in jail the entire time.
Right.
But because of the liberal policies in New York City, letting out people without bail and also not prosecuting violent crimes, has led to this, right? And the only person they've charged in a violent crime is Daniel Penny, who was a man who stood up for people on a subway and is now charged with murder.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I wanted to address this because somebody brought it up here. Yes, Tim Pool laughed at the women getting punched in the face because it is exactly what they voted for. I mean, I get that you want to have the, like, we should protect all women. I get that because we're on the right. We believe that. Yes. But in New York City, protecting you comes at a cost and a risk to my personal safety and my personal well-being. That the fact that I will probably spend my life in jail if I protect you. So tell me, like, what is a dude supposed to do when, yes, our inherent values say protect you, even at the cost of ourselves, which means we will probably end up in jail for the rest of our lives just doing so without anybody actually thanking us for it. Instead, they will be praising the person who we fought against instead. So,
let me take it a step further.
Yeah.
The woman you're supposed to protect comes back around at you and accuses you of misogyny and SA and all that other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so here's the other guy.
I was just reading a story about a female. I forget what state she was in, but she sued a guy who saved her from drowning.
I remember that story.
Remember that? So now, I get where Coy's saying, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's just like, man, especially depending on what city you live in. Man,
especially if a dude dies, if somebody dies and I'm me protecting you.
And if I end up fighting this dude and I end up winning and putting him in the hospital, I'm going to jail.
Or I'm getting sued at the very least.
But if I don't protect her and I'm seen in a video not protecting her, and then everybody's going to come after me, and then she could turn around and sue me, or the cops can arrest me for me allowing a violent crime to happen and me not intervening. So what are you supposed to do?
So
in New York, and I get where Tim
you get
Pool,
what you vote for, man.
I get what Tim Pool is saying. I don't think Tim Pool is laughing that these women got hit. Tim Pool is, like Coy said, he's laughing at they voted for this.
Yeah.
They wanted this. The feminism and all these other movements asked for this. And it's going to get worse as generations go on. As long as this feminism and this destruction of the nuclear family and trying to make men more feminine and get rid of masculinity, you're going to see more stuff like this.
Yeah. And look, I mean, yeah, is he a little callous for laughing at it? Yeah. I mean, it's a very schadenfreude moment. It's like you see somebody do something stupid when they voted for this. So like they voted away their ability to defend themselves because they have one of the strictest gun laws in the country, right? If you're in Arkansas or like West Virginia or any other places like Texas, for instance, you ain't got to worry about that. Somebody goes up and starts punching people randomly. One of those people are probably going to shoot you in the face, right? So like if you vote away your security and expect the state to protect you, which they're not going to do, and if somebody steps up to protect you, the likelihood that person goes to jail instead of the other person is astronomically more high. So the risks involved of getting helping people just in general is too damn high in New York City. You will lose your life one way or the other, whether it be in prison or you actually die.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, what are they supposed to do?
There was a new video that came out today that I was watching, and it was in New York. And there was this guy, he looked crazy. He looked like an Hispanic guy. He looked crazy though. And he was walking down in a subway and he was just going up punching everyone that was in his way. Bam. And people were just like, what the hell? And he was just punching them. And there was this Asian lady standing there, young. She's probably like in her 20s. She didn't see him coming. He blindsided her, knocked her out, kept walking, and punched like 3 other people on his way out until they finally chased him down. But it was just like the American people, and I get what Coy's saying. American people, most of them were just standing there watching this lunatic punch all these people that were minding their business because they are afraid if they hurt this guy or, killed the guy trying to defend someone or defend themselves, they're going to be the ones being prosecuted. Because then the story is going to come out if he has mental illness or some type of mental issue. New York, subway guy kills and beats a mentally disabled person
of color.
Of color.
Right. Like he killed a mentally disabled man of color. That's how that's how they look at Daniel Penny as a murderer, even though he saved people, because the guy was going around saying he was going to kill people. Like, I'm sorry, you get what you vote for, you get what you deserve. If you're still living in New York City, you're dumb. Simply put, you're just stupid. It is a combat zone in its entirety. Like, if I was going overseas to a place that was probably pretty violent, right? Or even to certain places in Mexico or South America, right? You would assume a certain level of security risk. New York City is a security risk to women. If you're still living in New York City without any sort of protection, you're stupid. Period. Like, there's no other way to look at that, because it is a risk for a man to defend you. The cops are not going to help you. The likelihood of you being pushed in front of a subway is very high. The likelihood of you being assaulted by somebody on the street is very high. The fact that you could probably be robbed or even murdered by illegals in New York City is really high. It is a combat zone, period. And you should treat it as such.
And the likelihood of that happening is increasing exponentially because of these, immigration, the migrant process that New York City is instilling. So
and it's going to get worse. Like I said, it's going to get worse as the time goes on, because a lot of these people are going to see that they're getting away with it. It's easy for them to do, and you're going to see more and more of these incidents coming up. So if you live in these major cities, New York, LA, it's time to get up out of there. It really is. And people are like, oh, it's not that hard. It's a little too hard to move. Look, when I left Texas, I sold everything. I packed my dogs in my truck, whatever little I had that I wanted to keep, and I moved west. So it's not hard, and it's a cesspool, and it's going to get worse. They're offering these immigrants all this money, places to stay. They're going to be flooded. And I'm not saying all immigrants are out here doing this. I'm just saying you're not going to recognize New York anymore.
Yeah.
And they're going to slowly push you out.
You literally voted for AOC. You get what you deserve, man. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It doesn't get any worse than, seriously, like Coy said, this is pure schadenfreude, because it's like you guys wanted this by your votes and or not votes, and the fact that y'all just sat there and let AOC say some of these things. You allowed Eric Adams to take office, and then he's
the majority of Democrat women vote for these policies. The majority of Democrats are women. You voted in people who lacks criminal codes in order to justify the progressive values, right?
Yep.
Because
and then you're surprised when criminality takes hold of your city. Like, what are we supposed to do? We like as Tim Still puts it on his show, should we invade New York? Should we invade New York and then take over and fix it for you? No, because that was your choice. You chose to live this way.
Every state is sovereign. Fix it.
So, if you don't like it, move, because there are 49 other states you can move to.
Yeah,
that aren't New York City.
Businesses are shutting down. People are leaving. Big businesses are leaving there. And they're going to see a lot more. If this continues, you're going to see a lot more people. Because why? Because it's bad for business.
Yeah.
It's bad for business, for tourism, for people to go to New York and they're worried about getting punched in the face, or even worse. This is just the beginning. They're only punching people now. Imagine what they're going to start doing later on. So I see a lot of
we can only help you so much.
I see a lot of people, slowly leaving New York and moving to other cities that are safer, other states that are safer, that are true safe havens for.
So the problem with that is that these people who are leaving these liberal cities are going to other cities to enact the same policies that they left.
You still vote the same exact way. I know it's so the way I look at it, it's a really terrible analogy, but it's the only one that makes sense. So, if a woman is in an abusive relationship with somebody, and they keep going back to them, even though they keep getting punched in the face, in literal reality in this point, and you keep telling them, hey, you should leave, and they don't leave, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, we telling you, get away from this guy. He's not good for you, or woman, whatever. In this day and age, it's 2024. So whoever's beating you, whether it be your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, whoever's hitting you, you should get away from that person. If you continue to stay there, that's your fault.
That is true.
So it's the same thing. The same thing with New York City. You keep getting punched in the face. We keep telling you, hey, move somewhere where you can defend yourself, and you don't. That's on you as an individual person.
Yeah, I won't be moving to New York City.
Bad for you, but it's your fault.
You done?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I won't be moving to New York City no time soon. You know, I won't be moving to any major city that allows the crime to happen like that. Yeah. You know, it's like they're quick to go after people like Trump. Nonviolent crime, or whatever they want to. Whatever they want to accuse him of doing, it wasn't violence. But you got these violent criminals committing acts of violence against women. They don't care. Or elderly people, throwing people on a train track. They're doing all types of stuff. They go to jail. They get released. Hence, this is why that New York NYPD police officer got killed during a routine traffic stop, is because this guy, a violent criminal, was released. And New York keeps doing that. Then they wonder why they have such a high crime rate in New York.
Yep.
Better get out of there. Take your money and run. Take all your money and whatever you got, move. Go west. Go to Utah. Go somewhere.
Or wherever it may be, man. Just not in New York City. Just not in New York City.
I think people have to suffer just on the cusp of breakdown in order for them to be able to change. And so, I mean, yeah, if you're gonna move. But I also firmly believe that if it's your city, take it back. Take it away from some of these politicians who are literally putting your lives in jeopardy through the policies.
That's right. And I talk about it all the time, and you'll hear me if you follow me on TikTok. I talk about defiance. You always hear me say, be defiant, be defiant. Stop listening to their rules that they put on you that makes you feel unsafe. You know what I mean? I couldn't be in New York, and they couldn't tell me I couldn't do this. Well, I feel safe like this, and they tell you can't do this or you'll go to jail. The next thing you know, you get thrown on the train tracks, and they're like, well, maybe if they had a weapon, they probably wouldn't have happened. You need to just leave, and just let the city turn to whatever it wants to turn into. Let it go.
New York City is a dead city. It has been since COVID.
Done.
Everybody left. The only people there are criminals and those that can afford it. That's literally it.
It has been since 9/11.
Yeah, so dude, the people that are complaining about this are usually affluent white people that have money. They can leave, right? And then it's like, what about everybody else? It's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Vote for better people. Actually push your state to do something to protect you because you're paying the taxes. Like I said, they're extorting money from you. You should get your due return for that money and demand for it.
Yep, they're not doing what you're paying to do. You voted to put them in there. When you vote to put someone in there, they don't become your master. And this is what a lot of these politicians think. You know, they think, oh, the American people put me in here, so I'm their boss. I'm their master, so I tell them what to do. No, you don't tell us what to do. We tell you what to do. So if we say we want this, X, Y, and Z, you have no say so. You work for us. But these cosmopolitan liberals, you know, metropolitan, whatever you want to call them, these rich liberals and these people like Mayor Adams, who listens to his rich liberal friends to push policies. They think they're in charge of New Yorkers. They think you guys are below them. So they're going to do anything to keep you unsafe while telling you that they're going to protect you. They are not required to protect you. You protect yourself and your family by any means necessary. They're not obligated to do that. People need to get that out their head. They're not obligated to take care of you. They talk about it, but they can care less.
It's just a feel-good talking point.
Yeah.
And crazy days, unfortunately for that, the American gains were already taken over by the cartels long ago. There's no fight. If you didn't know that, I mean, you can research it. The American gangs no longer exist. The cartels run all those. The only people you see now are disorganized mobs. They're not gangs.
Yep.
And that's the reason that they seem so shocking, is because they are disorganized. If they were actually like mafia or actual gangs, they would be more organized. These people are mostly just kids running around doing stupid things, or they're causing havoc everywhere they go because they think they're awesome. That's really what it is.
Yep. And in cities like that, it's going to take someone making an example out of someone. You know, and like Coy said, people are scared to go to jail, but there are some fed up citizens, and it's coming. Citizens, not just in New York, across the country, are fed up. They're fed up of walking around their own neighborhood, their own community like a victim. In the communities that they lived in their whole life, now they don't know what their kids, when the kids go down the street, they don't know what's going to happen to them. They don't know what's going to happen to their elderly parents. They don't know what's going to happen to themselves just going to the local store. They don't know if they're going to get strong-armed robbed or knocked upside the head. So citizens are getting fed up. Just understand that. They're getting fed up. And the minute citizens start fighting back, then you're going to hear Big Daddy come in talking about, we need to, and we need to do all this. Why does it have to get to that point? Stop it now before it gets to the point where you're not going to be able to control it. And I think that's what they want.
I find it interesting, though, in this entire episode, we have two juxtapositions of class. You got a crazy rich white liberal who pulled the same fraudulent act in Jon Stewart, who is literally one of the elites in New York, who couldn't give a rip about what's going on with the normal, average, everyday citizen. And then you got normal, average, everyday citizens facing the very same things that they wanted through their policies. And there's this weird juxtaposition that Coy mentioned about there's this chasm in the middle between these two points in New York society. And it's crazy to me that in this entire episode, between those two examples, that's just crazy that it's like that.
Yeah. Like the other juxtaposition is these are the same type of people during COVID that were happy when people died or got sick of COVID that didn't take the shot. So like, I'm not going to feel sorry for these people. Honestly, I'm not. Like, I feel sorry that there are men that decided to go around punching women. I think it's disgusting. I think that these women need to be protected, but they have lost the ability for men to actually protect them in New York City. So what do you want me to do? Like, it's too much of a risk. Nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to step up and be a good Samaritan when they know they can go to jail or die, and they're losing their life one way or the other.
And on that point, you know, if it is women, you can blame the modern feminist movement.
Yeah,
you can blame that also. You know, when
you
I
gotta
was
be a strong woman.
When I was growing up as a kid,
what else is there though? I mean, there's nothing else to blame but.
You think feminists would be more for gun rights? Because being a strong woman means you get to carry a gun, right? Like, that's what I thought. I was wrong.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just I think we need to get back to chivalry. Like, we need to get back to the original ways. And you know, no man, at least me, I can speak for myself. I don't think that any female is beneath me. I look at them as equals per se, but we all have a role. We all have a part in this world, in this society, and our parts aren't equal. They're not. You know, men need to get more back to the protector aspect of it, and women get back to the more nurturing. Now it's all crisscrossed. You know, you got men out here wanting to be women, and women wanting to be, you know, alphas. And then we don't know what's going on. A woman's an alpha until she gets punched in the face. Now she's a feminine, and a dude that's a feminine sees a female getting punched in the face, and he's too feminine to do anything about it. Let's bring back the normal, and that's the problem. Feminism, this anti-masculinity movement, this feminism movement, it needs to go, because our streets were safer when men were being men.
The streets were safer when we actually had a cohesive culture.
Yep. And the culture, and the thing is, you know, before this modern day feminism thing started, it was like, I grew up in a household. I had a very masculine grandfather who raised me and a very feminine grandmother. And they vibe, man. It was like a perfect balance. You know, divine feminine, divine masculine. It was just perfect balance. Didn't have too much masculinity when it came to discipline. Didn't have too much femininity when it came to nurturing. It was balance. Just enough right there. And that's what we need to get back to.
Yeah. Without one, the other dies. It's just the way it is.
I don't want, for me personally, like being single guy, you know, I don't want some alpha female running around me talking about,
you don't
up,
want
dog?
No muscle mommy?
Yeah. What up, G? What? No. You know, I do like a female that can hold her own to protect her.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not around, she knows how to hold her own. But I don't need another dude walking around the house, you know, out trying to out masculine me.
You shouldn't be. I mean, I saw this TikTok where she
like
says
feminine.
Yeah, I mean, this one TikToker says that it's not up to a man should not be able to be the one to tame the strong feral woman, which is what women are today. Is they're feral.
I can fix her
animals. Yeah, you can't handle me. Why do I want to?
Yeah,
I don't want to handle you.
I don't want it. You know,
I mean, why would I willingly stick my hand in a badger hole?
Yeah.
I don't want to get my hand ripped off. I'm sorry. I don't want to willingly do that. If you want to do that and stick your hand in somewhere that you probably know is going to get mauled off, that's on you, man.
And that's the problem. That's the problem, especially with being single these days. You get women. I don't even know what women want half the time. I don't know if they want a man that's feminine or they want a man that's masculine. I don't know if they don't. I don't know what they want.
Yes.
You know, and then men, we want women that are more feminine, more traditional, but a lot of these women they're masculine. Not saying they don't have the femininity in them.
Modern women
but
don't.
Some of them, modern women, they carry themselves and they act like men and they talk like men. I'm not dating no chick that talks like a dude, like a sailor. It ain't happening. You know, it's not happening. You know, I'm more traditional, and I always will say this. I'm very traditional when it comes to relationships. I want a lady that's a lady in the street, and a freak in the city. You remember that old saying?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
that's what I want. But if it's time to throw down, and if it's her and I, and if it's time to get busy, she could bring out that other person. But then she could turn it right back off and go back to being a lady.
Yep.
That's sexy to me. I don't want some dude walking around in boxers all the time, scratching herself, talking, what up, G? Getting what? You know, no, you're a girl. No.
I mean, unless you want to go to prison, that's kind of what it would be like, right?
I'm just saying in general, I think that's the biggest problem with our society and felt society is that if there are real men, very masculine men around when some of these beta, weak mama boys be going around punching these females, half them dudes, and let's take New York out of the equation. Half them dudes wouldn't be walking. They would lose all the teeth in their mouth, and they know it. But since men, like Coy said, are afraid of the repercussions or the consequences of whatever they do, or the men are feminine, they're scared to offend the lady because girl power. I don't want to offend her. Then this happens to women. It makes us look weak. You don't have to walk around claiming that you're some alpha male. Any man who claims he's an alpha is not an alpha. Just
is a boy pretending to be a man.
Yeah, he's a boy pretending to be a real alpha. Doesn't have to say they're an alpha. When they walk in a room, you know that person's not to be messed with. They don't have to say anything. And usually, true alphas to me are some of the most humble men I've ever met. Humble, nice, but they will punch you in the face if you mess with them. But they're nice as heck, and they smile, and they're goofy, and they just laugh, but they got to switch. Those are real alphas. The dudes that walk around beating their chest, claiming they're alphas, they're not alphas. They got mama issues. They're trying to be something.
Like I said, just boys trying to be men. That's trying to be the thing. And when you've disincentivized masculinity, then you get a bunch of effeminate men. And then those that are ones that want to protect can't, because they can't risk everything in their life just to save you. Because like, I'm not going to risk my family to save a stranger at that point.
Exactly. And
even though I probably would still do it anyway, I'm just saying like there are consequences for me acting.
Yeah, but back in the days, that was normal for a man to jump and save a woman in distress. Nowadays, it's not, because why? Society.
It just depends on the state. If you're in New York, don't do it. If you're in Texas, you're probably fine.
It does depend on the state. But the whole dynamic of the roles within, when it comes to the two genders,
that's mixed up now. It's mixed
Yeah,
up.
it's all mixed up. So you don't know. Yeah, you don't even know. So just figure it out. And all I can say is protect yours, protect the ones you love, protect your wife, protect your girlfriend, protect your daughters, sons, and just focus on that. And old people, never let an old person get beat up.
And call out Jon Stewart for being disingenuous.
Yeah, and call out Jon Stewart for being just disingenuous, for being a hypocrite, typical left-wing hypocrite. This is what they do best, and we're going to continue to call them out on this show, no matter what. We will call out the left-wing hypocrisy and the right-wing hypocrisy. The right's not safe either on this podcast. They aren't safe. We've said it many times. Right or left, we believe in truth and justice, and we will call you out on the right.
What was the old Superman saying? Truth, justice, and the American way.
The American way, because America first and America always. Where we go one,
we should adopt that since they dropped it. They don't use it anymore.
Yeah.
Truth, justice, and the American way, people. Savage patriots.
And nothing can stop what is coming. Always remember that. Keep your eyes on the sky. Prepare your homes. Jay, take us out.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you when we see ya.
Hey, and don't forget, Marlon will be back next week.
Bro.
Okay. Sorry. Say it again. Do it again. I'm sorry.
Ruin the flow, man.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Or.